In today's video, we are talking about a startling claim from Rivian's CEO, RJ Scaringe. He says the US can't stop China's growing dominance in the electric vehicle race unless we address one major issue: affordability. Sure, we've got fancy trucks and high-end sedans, but people want EVs that don't break the bank. Meanwhile, China is rolling out low-cost models that appeal to everyday drivers. That means sleek designs, reliable ranges, and price tags that won't scare off middle-income families, all while pushing the boundaries of mass production. This is a big deal because Rivian isn't just any startup. It's been hailed as one of the most promising EV companies in America. If RJ Scaringe is sounding the alarm, we need to listen. In today's breakdown, we'll explore what he said, why China is so far ahead, and how Rivian and other US automakers plan to catch up. I've included all my sources down in the description. RJ Scaringe recently pointed out that America lacks strong EV options under $50,000. It's not that we're uninterested in switching to electric, we just can't afford the models on offer. According to RJ Scaringe, if we don't fix this gap, we won't see the widespread adoption we need. He also noted that rising competition makes it harder for latecomers to catch up if they don't aggressively target lower price segments. He specifically highlighted China's approach: offer EVs at every price point. Over there, you can find a small commuter car or a family SUV that fits your wallet, and that keeps their sales numbers rising. It's a straightforward argument. Affordability drives adoption. If people can't afford a new EV, no amount of fancy features will convince them. Luxury trucks starting at $70,000 might make headlines, but they won't spark a revolution in personal transportation. That's where RJ Scaringe sees the real threat. China's ability to mass produce lower-cost EVs means they're poised to dominate, unless the US steps up its game. The numbers are staggering. By 2024, China's EV market reached around 45% of all new car sales. Meanwhile, the US is at a modest 8%. So how did China pull so far ahead? One key factor is the sheer range of affordable models. Companies like BYD offer electric vehicles for less than $11,000, an unthinkable price point in America. They've also mastered battery tech to ensure these budget-friendly cars remain dependable for everyday use. Government support is another big piece of the puzzle. China's policies, tax incentives, subsidies, and ambitious EV targets have created an environment where manufacturers can focus on innovation without constantly worrying about profitability. Plus, Chinese firms excel at vertical integration. They handle everything from battery production to final assembly under one corporate umbrella. That slashes costs, speeds up production, and makes it easier to roll out new models quickly. They've also built a comprehensive EV ecosystem, including widespread charging infrastructure and local supply chains for critical components. Imagine living in a city where there's a charging station on nearly every block, and the government is actively pushing for more. That accessibility encourages people to take the plunge into electric. In the US, EVs often feel like luxury items, partly because we keep rolling out premium offerings. That might excite tech enthusiasts and early adopters, but it alienates buyers who can't drop $50,000 or $60,000 on a new vehicle. Our battery supply chain is also more fragmented. Most crucial components are still imported, which drives up costs and complicates production. And while some states promote EV adoption, others lag behind in both policy and infrastructure, widening regional disparities. On top of that, not all states or localities have the same incentives or charging infrastructure, making EV ownership inconsistent depending on where you live. And even though federal tax breaks help, they might not be enough to convince someone looking for a sub-$40,000 car to switch. For EVs to go mainstream, we need a range of options, some that cost the same or less than a traditional gas-powered vehicle. We also face technological fragmentation. Different automakers use different battery tech, software, and even charging standards. That adds another layer of confusion for consumers who just want a reliable, cost-effective electric car. Throw in supply chain bottlenecks, and it's clear we have plenty of challenges to overcome if we want to match China's scale. Rivian is trying to change the narrative. Their upcoming model, the R2 SUV, is targeted at around $45,000, a notable drop from their pricier flagship trucks. If they hit this price point without sacrificing too much in performance, it could be a game changer for American-made EVs. RJ Scaringe has hinted that Rivian wants to leverage advanced manufacturing techniques to streamline production and keep costs lower. He's also suggested that partnerships with established players, like Volkswagen, might help Rivian improve improve software integration and manufacturing efficiency. But Rivian can't shoulder this alone. If America wants to compete, more manufacturers need to produce affordable EVs that can rival what's coming out of China. We also need robust policy support. That means long-term investments in battery factories and raw materials at home. It means strategic thinking from lawmakers who recognize that building an EV powerhouse won't happen overnight. It requires steady funding, training, and tech research. We might look to China's approach for inspiration, concentrate on scaling up production, streamline the supply chain, and focus heavily on cost reduction. America has the talent and resources to do this, but it's going to take more than short-term incentives. We need a cohesive plan involving automakers, tech firms, and government agencies, all rowing in the same direction. It's a fair question. China started early, and their momentum is now undeniable. But the US has proven before that it can innovate at lightning speed when given the right incentives and focus. The real challenge isn't building a cool electric car. We already do that. It's making it cheap enough and available enough to matter for everyday drivers. We need to remember that millions of potential buyers are on the fence, waiting for a product that meets their budget and reliability standards. If Rivian's R2 SUV succeeds, maybe it'll prompt competitors to accelerate their own affordable EV projects. The Ford F-150, Lightning, and Chevy Bolt are steps in the right direction, but they're either still pricey or face supply limitations. We need a wave of cars priced for the average household, not just tech-savvy, high-income buyers. Infrastructure is another critical piece. If charging your EV is inconvenient or inconsistent, that discourages adoption. We're seeing an increase in public chargers, but we're nowhere near the saturation that China has achieved in many of its cities. If we want to match that, both public and private sectors have to invest in more stations, faster chargers, and standardized systems that make everything plug and play. Look, Scaringe's comments aren't just a publicity stunt. He's warning us that if we don't fix the affordability problem, we risk falling behind permanently. China isn't waiting for us to catch up. They're pushing forward and refining their approach daily. The question is, will we adapt or get left behind in one of the most important automotive transitions in history? Ignoring these warnings could mean losing a massive share of the global market to more agile competitors overseas. Trust me, the global EV landscape is evolving at rapid speed. So what do you think? Is the US doomed to play second fiddle, or can we reorganize, innovate, and close that gap? Let me know in the comments. This is a debate worth having, because it's not just about corporate competition, it's about the environment, jobs, and global influence. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. It really does help more people see it, and it lets me know you want more deep dives into the EV world. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to check out the description for all the sources I used. I'll catch you in the next one. Drive safe and stay curious.